it's Necey Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back, y'all. Happy Monday. Y'all know how it is on Mondays. I like to get my little drink after a long day's worth of hard work. Today, I'm drinking my Stella Rosa with my Mexican chamoy dip. It is everything, but it's also super messy, so I'm going to try not to drink it too much while we talk about this review, y'all. What's up, Karen? Thank you for being here. Hey, Berta. So, y'all, the thumbnail for this video, I had to say no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am, because that's how I was feeling this entire episode, okay? When it came to Mel and Martell, no ma'am. When it came to Tisha, no ma'am. When it came to Tiffany, no ma'am. So, y'all, I definitely was thinking at first like, Tiffany did the fool. I felt like I wanted to go off on Tiffany. But at the same time, I was like, Tisha definitely just pulled one. So no ma'am, okay? And for those of you who know that we typically do this on Sundays, today is Monday. This is the second Monday in a row that I have reviewed Love and Marriage Huntsville. That's because I've been doing stuff on Sundays. So I'm hoping to get back to Sundays, but if I don't, I think we'll be okay with Monday. So this Sunday, I was out paintballing. I had a lot of fun, and I actually wore the right gear, so I didn't really hurt myself as much. I fell and hit my knee, and my knee swelled up, which was bad, but it could have been worse because I could be all bruised up. But thank you for asking, Karen. I had fun. Now, y'all, LK Foxy One. Let's go ahead and get into the review for Love and Marriage Huntsville. I cannot remember the title of this episode, but y'all know what it is if you just look down in the description box. Let's go ahead and get into the mess. Never again, that's my only request. Never again do I want to see Mel and Martell on a trip together. Never. This was just like, I felt like I was on a trip. Y'all was ruining my damn time. It's like too much. I don't understand. So we start off, and yes, I have pictures today. The men are playing basketball, and they are of course blah 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 reset. They are of course discussing Mel and Martell, because remember, y'all, we are coming off of the heels of Mel and Martell arguing after riding bikes around Vegas. So they're talking about what's going down. Maurice, on one hand, says that he can see where Mel is coming from because he sees that Mel is using music as her outlet. On the other hand, Marceau is saying, but in no way, shape, or form should the children be singing the lyrics to the song. If y'all want to know my opinion, I do understand where Marceau is coming from, saying that the kids shouldn't be singing the song. But in my opinion, ultimately, the kids were going to know what he did anyway, because not only did he cheat, he cheated, and now they have a whole ass sibling. So to me, I don't see the harm in them singing this song. It is what it is, and it's also a way for them to understand what their dad has done, because either way, it was going to have to be explained to them. So I'm kind of just like, okay, whatever. So Marceau also brings up a good point, which is weird. I hate to say it because Marceau usually be talking like a damn fool. He said that both Martell and Melody had invalid points in their arguments. I thought it was fair that he said that, not necessarily so much that Mel was wrong. And I'm with you all the way when Tay talked. He shouldn't have cheated, and there would be no song. That's what I got to go back to. Like what Kimmy said, I think last season, she was like, but we got to go back to the beginning. Like, people always want to talk about what's in the middle. But y'all, if we go back to the beginning, if he didn't cheat, there wouldn't be a song. So the kids are going to know what happened regardless, okay? So Martell brings his extra medium ass outside in his shirt. I had to get a screenshot. The shorts were super short. The shirt was too tight. And I'm just like, Martell, you don't have to do all that. It does not make you look any more swollen if you actually wore clothes that fit. So please, because we're gonna be on your head, okay? And that's why I also feel like they casted him really well in the music video for Mel, because that dude was wearing a small shirt knowing he was every bit of a large. The only difference is they didn't have a bald man in the video. So what they needed was a bald man, okay? So Martell in this extra small top. He comes out. Now that Martell is out, they start discussing two things. The first thing that they discuss is surprise therapy. Martell feels that Tisha really ain't tripping because he says that isn't it better that she takes you to surprise therapy rather than just acting out at home? And I was like, I'm surprised that Martell even had that thought process. Marceau ends up explaining how whenever he first dated Tisha, when they first got together, he said her shoulders are all square. She was the most confident woman in the world. And now he says within the past 2 or 3 years, keep in mind, y'all, the past 2 or 3 years is the time that they've been on the TV show. He feels like she completely lost her confidence. And when he said that, I was like, damn, like I can't even imagine Tisha being confident because I feel like the whole time that we've known her, she's only ever been known as insecure. So for Marceau to say that, it's like, it's cool that you're acknowledging that, but I feel like at the same time where he could be, I guess, helping her rid herself of her worries. What's the word I'm looking for, y'all? She needs reassurance. He's not reassuring her in the moments where we see her asking for reassurance. And I don't know if it's because he's tired of her asking or what, but it's just hard to imagine Tisha as confident. So the next thing they start talking about is Martell. Marceau says that basically if you want to be a part of this group and function along with Mel, you need some self-control. And Martell's like, yeah, you're right, but y'all aren't me. Y'all don't understand. You don't know what it's like to be me. You don't know what it's like. Martell, just listen, okay? If you want everybody to continue to have a good time and for y'all to function as a group, you really need to get it together. And I feel like it's going to be damn near impossible. Y'all comment below. Y'all tell me, is Martell and Mel ever going to get to the point to where they can function in the group as one? Or not even as one, but with minimal frustration and anger, okay? So then we go on to the next scene, y'all. The next scene, the women are having a pool day. And I must say, Tisha looked really good, but I didn't screenshot it. She was wearing like a highlighter swimsuit. Her body was out in. She looked good, y'all. And before they get started, everybody's like, where's Mel? Where's Mel? So while everybody's asking where Mel is, Martell ends up going to her room. And this is where we find out that he went into her room at 1:30 in the morning. What was you trying to do, Martell? She says, what was you coming in my room for, Martell? It was 1:30 in the morning. What did you need, Martell? Martell. And he ends up trying to talk over it as if we didn't hear her just say you came in her room at 1:30 in the morning. So then he explained, well, I came in your room to try to apologize because I want everything to be good. Now you came in the room because you wanted Mel to bust it open. You wanted to run it back one time, okay? And that's part of the reason why I feel like Martell argues with Mel the way that he argues with her. I feel like he still got it for her. He still wants that thing. And Mel basically just said in her confessional that book is closed. The door's closed. It's not happening again. So this is where they start arguing, okay? I think it's so funny because both of them come from a place of wanting to be understood. Both of them come and initially start talking as if, they have some sense. They both start talking like they're not really gonna argue. And then somebody says one wrong thing and then all of a sudden it's a shit show. So Mel, she calmly explains to him, it's a trigger for me whenever you mention us having 4 kids. She was like, because you always make me look like, basically she felt like in reference to Martell talking about the kids, that's a way to make her seem as if she's not a good mom. So the next trigger for her was the fact that he brought up the music. And then she said, something's wrong with you. And she said, I had known something was wrong with you ever since. He started trying to explain himself and apologize, which I do think he was trying to apologize, okay? It's like y'all almost get there. Y'all tolerate each other. Y'all act like y'all are gonna have a productive conversation. And then one of y'all is like, had to beat you to the punch with the pettiness. And that's exactly what happened. So one thing I do want to acknowledge, y'all, is the fact that she said something's wrong with you, because I felt like something was wrong with him too ever since the last season, because that was really the first season that I kept watching over and over again. So yeah, something is definitely wrong with him. This is Martell's trigger, obviously. Martell ends up walking away because they get into that dumb, I was talking, no, I was talking, no, I was talking first, but I wasn't done yet, And it's like, what do y'all keep arguing about? Sugar, I'm right here with you. She says, I feel like, what is there left to understand? We are no longer married. Why bother? If it's not about the kids, move on. I agree. And it's like, they keep talking about things that don't really matter. They keep talking about things and saying things that isn't what they truly want to say. And I feel like that's the only reason why y'all can keep arguing and talking in circles and circles and circles, because that's not what you truly want to say. So anyway, y'all, Mel says the magic word, side chick. All of a sudden, Martell loses his shit. He's yelling, he's cussing. No, but you was a side chick. Yelling at, y'all hear that? He was in this register. But you was a side chick. He tells us that Mel was a side chick to two dudes. I don't know if he was saying before they got together or either after they got together, but he says that she was a side chick to two dudes who had fiancés. She is like, I ain't ever been a side chick. He swears up and down. Now, y'all, Martell be showing his ass. This, I completely believe Mel in this situation. I don't think that Mel has ever been a side chick. I think that Mel may have dated two guys who ended up being engaged later on, and Martell flipped it to make it seem like she was just as bad as him. But I do have to say, sometimes there are moments when Martell is saying things, and I kind of believe what he's saying, but nobody believes a crazy person. Like, or at least a crazy person being portrayed. And L, yes, good point. He named two people, but both of the names were bleeped out. So I'm like, who are these people? Interesting, okay? So anyway, everybody runs in the house from the pool because Mel and Martell are just doing too much. They break them up, and then that's that. I'm like, how many times? Let me get a sip of my drink. How many times throughout this trip are we going to see Mel and Martell argue? Like, they never would. Not again. And then this comment from Janice says, Martell lied about Mel cheating on him, so I feel like he is lying about this too. Absolutely. I feel like whenever it comes to somebody making him look like the bad guy, he has to come up with something to make her look just as bad. But in this situation, I'm like, Mel, she knew, they know each other's triggers, okay? She knew that as soon as she said side chick, cheating, anything of that nature, that it was all going to be downhill, okay? So I would have called it a damn day, but these two, I guess they just like to argue. So y'all, the two separate. Later on, Tisha and Kimmy and Mel come and encourage, not Tisha, Kimmy and Mel, Tisha and Kimmy and the rest of the women go and encourage Mel to come play games before they go out. So Mel's trying to recharge. She has her bags packed just in case she's going to leave. But y'all know she ain't really leaving. She ends up coming to play a game, y'all. This game was messy AF. So Mel pulls a card. The first card that Mel gets says, are your needs being met? Mel says yes. And of course, they had to pan the camera to Martell, and Martell, of course, was uncomfortable, right? The next question that they pulled during this game is, how many people have you had sex with in one night? The person with the highest number wins. Martell says 2, which to me was not a surprise. But the fact that Marie says 6, he was lying. He was absolutely trolling, I hope, because it is such a difference from who people say Maurice was before he got married and with who we see on camera. So I'm just like, do y'all really think that this man had relations with 6 people in one night? Sounds gross, okay? It sounds super gross. And it sounded like something that Kimmy had never heard of before, which is why I feel like he was trolling, okay? So now the next thing that they do that's worth mentioning is Tiffany, who's leading the game. She says, drink if you are happy in your relationship, okay? This is where we're looking at this second picture right here, okay? Drink if you're happy in your relationship. Tisha and her insecure ass, I hate to say it, She's sitting there scratching her braids. But secretly, she's looking over, trying to see if Marceau is going to drink his drink. Marceau intentionally holds his drink up, and everybody's looking at him like, oh my gosh, are you not going to take a sip or whatever? And that part was funny to me. I was like, damn, that sucks. Next question is, have you ever cheated? I think everybody pretty much said yes, besides Tisha. Tisha said, I'm faithful, bitch. She was feeling some type of way. Okay. Now, Tiffany and Lewis keep on mentioning sex. People keep laughing, thinking that Tiffany and Lewis want to have an orgy. I'm pretty sure they do. In Journey with Karen, you are absolutely right. When we talked to Kimmy said that who Maurice was before they got married is so different than who he is now. But I feel like you can't be that far from who you really were. It's just so crazy to me. But when Tay Talk brought up a really good point, that it probably was some college frat mess, and that would make a big difference from who you were as to who you are today. So yeah, good point. Look at Karen. I'm so glad you be watching the interviews and I ain't got to run nothing back, because I hate being like, remember that one time? Y'all already know. So now, y'all, this part of the conversation is whenever they start asking for advice. Martell's advice to everyone is to take care of your mate. And I feel like this is in reference to him telling everybody that he wasn't taken care of, that Mel really didn't want to give him head and all this other BS, complete BS, because that could have been fixed. But yeah, that's Martell's advice. Destiny said, I ain't got a damn piece of advice for any of y'all. And I would have been just like Destiny. I ain't got nothing to say to none of y'all to give y'all advice. Like, that was a waste of time. And I feel like it was a nosy question, kind of messy, right? So Marceau ends up asking Destiny, where is your husband? And Destiny says, that's my ex-husband. So there's that. That's where he is. And I know a bunch of y'all were saying that they aren't allowed to say LeBeric's name, or Liberian, whatever his name is, LB, whatever. They aren't allowed to say his name on the show. And I was definitely getting that vibe whenever Marceau was like, where's your husband? So now, Marceau says his piece of advice is basically just to stay in your marriage. He says, what's the point of commitment if people actually want to leave when things get bad? He says marriage is for better or for worse. So he basically was very much advertising bad marriage for life, like Will and Jada, in my opinion. It was just like, it is what it is. We not leaving. While commitment is a beautiful thing, I hate that they don't highlight their ups as much as Marceau highlights their downs. Marceau almost just wears it as a badge of honor that they aren't going to break up, and that's that. And this goes to people thinking that they only made it work for the kids, because he was explaining on the bus to the men that there very well were times when they only stayed together for the kids, okay? So now, Tisha in this stupid ass question, literally, that's what my note says. My note says, Tisha, stupid ass question. This girl right here says, Kimmy, y'all, I have not gotten enough sleep and I keep looking at my eyes locked. We friends here, so y'all know I gotta be like, oh my gosh, I'm just having a moment, y'all. I am so tired. Y'all don't understand. My whole eye is wide. I have one more live review after this, and then I'm going to sleep. Okay. So anyway, y'all. Tisha asked a stupid ass question. She says, Kimmy, I want to ask you a question. I want to ask Maurice a question about Kiowa, but I don't want to be disrespectful. So do you mind if I ask this first? I was like, what the fuck? What is she about to say, right? So she ends up saying, before you got divorced, and she always talk like her nose and stuff. She said, before he and Kiowa got divorced, Kiowa said that there was a chance that they could have made their relationship work, but Maurice left and didn't even give it a chance. And low-key, I believe it. Thank you so much, Elle. Low-key, I believe it. I believe that they probably could have made it work, but Maurice didn't give it a chance. But ultimately, y'all, why the fuck does it matter? He's married now. He has a whole nother wife. So I think that answers your question. While she says that they could have made it work, ultimately that wasn't the best decision, and the best decision is probably sitting right next to him right now. So for you to ask that question while your sister is there, your sister, since that's what you like to say, I probably would have wanted to pop you upside your head. And y'all know that's why Kimmy was sitting in the club whenever Tiffany was coming for Tisha, and Kimmy was not saying an MF word because Kimmy was living for that moment. So that was a dumb ass question. Like, I don't understand for Tisha to be so bright. I'm like, time and a place, right? Like, y'all keep telling Tiffany, and then you really gonna ask that? What did you think Maurice was gonna say? Complete disrespect, irrelevant question. It was almost as if she wanted to say, what did you think he was going to say? Yeah, we could have made it work. What? Have you lost it? Girl. Y'all, let's move on, okay? So now we finally get to the main event of the episode, and that is the girls going to the club, okay? Mel, I just need to know why. I need to know why we are defending Tiffany. I know you say that your friends have different needs. That's what she explained to Destiny. But to me, it doesn't seem like Tiffany is as sensitive as she tries to act, or else you wouldn't put yourself out there in the way of so much bullshit. You wouldn't be the bone carrier of bullshit for people you don't know if you couldn't take the potential repercussions of it. So, Mel, I honestly want to know, like, why? So anyway, Tisha's at the club. Tisha, Destiny, Mel, Kimmy, and Tiffany. All the couples are at the club, y'all. Keep in mind that before they went to the club, Lewis came back to the room and was pillow talking with Tiffany and basically told Tiffany about the conversation that Marcel had with the guys, saying that Tisha was not as confident. And also reiterating the conversation that they had on the bus whenever he basically said that they stayed married for the kids. So for whatever reason, I know couples talk. I don't think Lewis should have said anything to Tiffany because you know your wife got a big mouth. I know that couples talk. I get it. But anybody with common sense would not run back to Tisha and tell her what her husband said. And then even more so, okay, let me go into order of events, y'all. So now, y'all, they're explaining how much fun Tiffany is. Destiny says she hasn't met the fun Tiffany yet. And she says there's just something about Tiffany that she doesn't like. She says she thinks it's more like the Karen thing that she can't stand, right? So I agree with you. There is a Karen thing about her. You start shit and then you cry. That's so Karen to me. It's like, I don't understand. You came to me with the mess, and now I'm responding the way that, you know, I probably should respond while still being respectful, but now you're in fear, or now you're feeling like you're attacked. So Destiny, I'm right there with you, right? So Tisha is talking to the women, and she says that she has a surprise, but she tried to keep it a secret. And Mel says, what's a surprise? We ain't gonna tell nobody. And Tisha says, well, it's kind of sort of like a semi-vow renewal. And everybody's just like, oh, Lord. But what's funny is, y'all, when we first met Tiffany, we learned that Tiffany was known for having a surprise wedding at the baseball stadium. So she surprised her husband with a wedding. So it's funny to me. This is all funny, y'all. I keep saying it's funny because the shit is wild. That she's the one telling Tisha, you may want to make sure that he knows something. You may want to make sure he knows something. She's like, you don't want to just spring that on him. You want to make sure he knows something. So then Tiffany says, well, I hear that y'all had other surprises as well because Lewis was out there talking to the guys. And Tisha says, what's the other surprise? Tiffany says, well, didn't you take him to surprise counseling? And all of a sudden, like, Tisha's face was cracked, y'all. It was so uncomfortable to watch. She was embarrassed. She ended up saying, yeah, ha ha. She like laughs really loud. We're doing a lot of surprises this year. And it was even more uncomfortable because she was the only one laughing. So I'm like, girl, I don't think that really is funny. And then she ultimately ends up asking Tisha, well, are y'all staying together for the kids? And Tisha says, oh, no, we're not doing that at all. We're not staying together for the kids. It's love. It's love. And the camera pans to her face, and you could tell that she's not even really believing what she's saying. Then you see this picture of Tiffany down below, and y'all, the faces that Tiffany was making. Tiffany, I could tell Tisha felt dumb. Tiffany was looking left, looking right, making faces like, what the fuck are you talking about? Making her feel dumb. I probably would have wanted to fight, to be honest. And I appreciate that the only person to hold her ass to a little bit of fire was Destiny, because Tisha really wasn't even saying much in response. And you could tell she wasn't saying anything only because a part of what Tiffany was saying was true. That was a soft spot for her. So it is love. Marcel loves embarrassing Tisha. Definitely. She was just making all kind of faces, right? So anyway, Destiny says to her, oh, well, didn't you have a surprise marriage? And Tiffany all of a sudden is taken aback. Well, I didn't want to get married. He wanted to get married. He asked me for 2 years. Okay, point proven. You have a surprise marriage, and now you're trying to advise her on what she should do in a group full of women who don't know anything about her marriage. Yes, Karen. It was the smile on Tiffany's face for me. She felt glorious in that moment. Miserable. Absolutely. So when Tiffany first starts delivering all the tea, both Mel and Destiny look surprised. Like, what? Is she really bringing this up? But then towards the end of the conversation, Mel ends up saying, well, you should be glad because she's giving you tea on your husband so you can go have a conversation with him. That shit just like, that shit don't make sense to me. I am so sorry. It does not make sense to me. Because she's repeating something that her husband said, you think that she should look at it as a, thanks for letting me know. No, that wasn't the time or place. And I feel like Mel has every bit of common sense to know that. But for whatever reason, you're defending Tiffany even when it doesn't make sense. That didn't make any sense to me at all. And yes, if Mel didn't interfere, Destiny definitely would have got Tiffany all the way together. Then the other thing, y'all, I can't forget this. Tiffany starts being shady with Destiny. It was like, yeah, I'm sure you know about, mood swings or something. She says Detroit, Atlanta, and Huntsville, everywhere you've been has shaped who you are. Trying to be shady. So I think that's real funny because she definitely was going to have a Karen moment. If your ass would have got dragged, you would have been in tears and Mel would have had to pick you up off the ground. I don't know what she knows. I don't know what Tiffany knows, why she feels that Tiffany needs to be protected at all costs, but I don't think in any way, shape, or form that was okay for Tiffany to bring her that information. And I'm so glad that Destiny was the one to basically talk some sense into the group. So yeah, y'all. Karen says Tiffany knows who the two men are. I don't know. I don't believe that she was with the two men, but Tiffany definitely knows something. Kay says, don't do Detroit. And Elle says that was definitely a moment to get dragged. So yeah, okay, when Tay talk, you right there with me. I thought Mel was going to say something completely different as well. I was just like, girl, why? So for Destiny to get up and walk away, Destiny handled that situation amazing. Because Destiny, I was like, I know you're not going to let this slide. Destiny, please get in her face. Destiny, please throw a drink. Destiny, please light her ass up. But you know what, Destiny? You did the right thing. Destiny was getting on my nerves a little bit early on in this season. You remember, y'all, if y'all go back to my earlier reviews, I was like, well, somebody had to spill Destiny. See, I don't feel that way no more. It's interesting to see what people do to acclimate themselves in the group. And Tiffany is clenching, okay? Clenching by the tips of her fingertips, trying to get into this group. And it is desperate. The desperation is embarrassing, y'all. So, y'all know how it goes on Mondays. We go back to back, y'all. Today is going to be the first day in probably forever that I drop 4 videos in one day. So immediately after this, we are about to go live and talk about Real Housewives of Potomac. So y'all already seen Love and Marriage Huntsville. You got Real Housewives of Potomac to watch. Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And then I dropped a quick 5-minute video talking about my feelings on Cynthia Bailey leaving Real Housewives of Atlanta. So that being said, y'all, head over to the other video. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you don't lose me in these YouTube streets. And I will see y'all in the next video happening right now.